My son betrayed me in a way I never expected. He handed over my mountain house, my sanctuary, to his in-laws like it was some casual wedding gift, telling me, "They need it more than you. You're not welcome there anymore." I smiled, nodded like a fool, and hid the fire boiling inside me. But when they tried to move in, they found something waiting for them, something unforgettable. That day, betrayal met consequences, and justice came from a direction they never anticipated. But before we dive into what happened, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. I slammed the trunk shut and grabbed my duffel bag, already picturing a peaceful weekend in the mountains. Just me, the lake, and 3 uninterrupted days of quiet. After another brutal week running my real estate firm in Sacramento, this place was my reset button. The 2-hour drive was always worth it, just to breathe the crisp air and see the blue shimmer of Big Pine Lake. But something felt off as I pulled into the driveway. 2 people stood on the balcony, my private balcony. They were wearing white bathrobes, sipping coffee like they owned the place. My son, Derek, leaned against the railing, laughing about something. Beside him was his wife, Olivia, who turned and went pale the moment she saw my car. I stopped in my tracks. "What the hell is this?" I muttered under my breath. My bag slipped from my fingers. Olivia straightened. Her face turned stone cold. I hadn't seen her look at me like that, not even during our worst disagreements. "Dad," Derek called out. "You can't be here. Olivia and I made plans. It's our anniversary weekend." I just stood there dumbfounded. This was my home, bought with the blood and sweat of decades in property development. I had chosen every beam, every tile, every tree on the lot with my late wife, Claire. It was our dream. "Derek, this is my house," I said, confused more than angry at that point. "I don't care," Olivia cut in, setting her mug down hard. "We're already here, and we're not leaving." I took a few steps forward. "I just wanted a quiet weekend. That's all." "You're interrupting our time," Derek replied. "Just go, Dad. Please." Go? From my own home? I looked at the woman my son had married. The same woman I'd paid rent for when they got married. The same one I helped through grad school. Now she was looking at me like I was some stranger off the street. I wanted to yell, to scream, to remind them who paid for this roof, who made it all possible. But I didn't. I simply said, "Fine," and I turned back to my car. "Next time," Olivia shouted after me, "try calling before just showing up." I didn't reply. I didn't trust myself to. As I backed out of the driveway, I saw Derek raise his cup like a toast, then turn his back to me. I drove all the way back to Sacramento in silence, gripping the steering wheel until my hands hurt. My home. My refuge. I felt like a guest in my own life. Monday night, I sat in my office, surrounded by silence and memories. The weekend had crawled by. No apology. No call. I thought maybe Derek would explain. Maybe it had been a misunderstanding. The phone rang. It was him. His voice? Cold. Like I was just another client. "Listen, Dad." Olivia and I talked. Her parents are moving into the mountain house. It's theirs now. What? I asked, my hand freezing halfway to my coffee mug. They need a place to stay, and it's just sitting there most of the time. It makes sense. You can't be serious. That's my property, Derek. You know that. I'm serious, he said, his voice cutting. We already gave them the keys. You don't go there anymore. 3 decades of 15-hour days flashed before my eyes. Every long night, every deal, every fight with zoning officials, all to build a future for my family. Now my son was tossing it aside like junk mail. I built that house, I said. Your mother and I. You're being selfish, Derek interrupted. They need it. You barely use it. And you're alone now. Alone. That word hit hard. Maybe I was. But that didn't give them the right to take what was mine. You're crossing a line you can't uncross, Derek. His response? That place isn't yours anymore. I hung up. For the first time in my life, I hung up on my son. The phone rang again almost instantly. I turned it off. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat there in my office chair, surrounded by real estate awards and framed deals on the walls, proof that I wasn't crazy, that I'd earned everything I had. Tuesday morning, I woke with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I opened my laptop and started reading California property law like it was a thriller novel. My phone buzzed. Derek again. Palmer's parents are coming to check out the house this weekend. I ignored it. The next day, I visited my lawyer. Victor Chang had been handling my contracts and deals for 20 years. Sharp guy, all suits and subtle sarcasm. His office overlooked the marina. You could hear the sails flapping on a windy day. Victor, I said, as I sat down, I need to make sure nobody, and I mean nobody, can take my property from me. He raised a brow. Family trouble? Something like that. Let's start with the deed, he said, pulling out a legal pad. We went through everything. Ownership documents, trust options, ways to lock it down tighter than Fort Knox. Then he paused. Is someone actively trying to claim your home? Yes, I said without hesitation. His tone shifted. Then we need to act fast. By that evening, I'd gathered every document, every receipt, every record from the property's purchase and improvement. Victor's final words as I left his office? Write everything down. Document every call, every threat. If this escalates, we'll be ready. That night, the house was quiet, but my mind wasn't. I sat in my living room, Derek's voice replaying in my head like a broken record. They need the house more than you. Like I was just some outdated piece of furniture, not the man who'd spent 30 years building an empire. By morning, something inside me had shifted. This wasn't about emotion anymore. It was about principle. About the simple fact that no one, family or not, gets to rob me without consequences. Derek had made a mistake. He gave me a deadline. Saturday. His in-laws were coming to settle in. That gave me 4 days. He thought he had the upper hand. But the moment he spoke that deadline out loud, he lost. Because now I had a clock, and I had something else he didn't expect. A plan. I rang my neighbor's doorbell that afternoon. Sam Vickers, a tech wizard who worked from home, usually in pajamas and socks, surrounded by cables and blinking gadgets. He owed me a favor from last winter, when I helped him fix a busted water line during a storm. "Hey, Peter," Sam said, his glasses crooked and a soldering iron in hand. "What brings you by?" "I need your help. Something technical." "Oh?" He leaned in, curious. "What kind of technical?" "Let's just say, smart home meets haunted house." His eyes lit up. "Oh, hell yes. You want to mess with someone?" I smiled. "Let's just say I want to leave a lasting impression." 2 hours later, we were loading Sam's SUV with enough gear to run a surveillance operation. Motion sensors, speakers, LED strips, programmable lights, hidden cameras, an automation hub that looked like it belonged in a sci-fi movie. The drive to the villa felt different this time. No peace, no nostalgia, just focus. Sam grinned as we arrived. "This is going to be fun." And it was. For the next 8 hours, we transformed my peaceful lake house into a psychological gauntlet. Lights were set to flicker and strobe when someone entered. Motion sensors would trigger eerie voice messages. Water would blast from the faucets. Projectors would cast shadows on the walls that moved, slowly, eerily, like someone pacing. "Welcome to the future," Sam joked, programming a voice assistant with the message, "You are not the owners of this home. Leave now." By the time the sun dipped behind the mountains, the system was fully integrated, powered by a hidden backup battery pack. Even if they cut the main power, the show would go on. "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" Sam asked, tightening a final screw. I looked out at the lake. Absolutely. The next few days were for testing and fine-tuning. Sam added whispering voices in the hallways. I added a welcome sign on the door. "Welcome to the house of tomorrow. Enter at your own risk." To any outsider, it would look like a harmless tech demo. But to Derek's in-laws, a waking nightmare. Saturday arrived. At exactly 2:30 p.m., the driveway camera pinged. A Navy SUV rolled up. Derek driving. Olivia in the passenger seat. Her parents, Leonard and Sylvia, sitting in the back. They got out with smiles, stretching, laughing, carrying boxes. This wasn't a visit. This was a move-in. Sylvia held a welcome mat under her arm. Leonard had a suitcase. Olivia wore sunglasses and superiority. Derek just looked smug. Then they saw the sign. Sylvia frowned. "What is this?" "Just something Dad put up," Derek said with a wave. "Ignore it." She ripped the sign down and tossed it in the bushes. They used a key, my spare, obviously copied without permission, and walked right in. Like they owned the place. The cameras fed everything to my laptop back in Sacramento. I watched as they unpacked in the foyer, laughed about where to put the couch, and commented on how nice the lake view was. At 10 o'clock p.m., the lights went out. Then the real show began. I pressed activate. Every room lit up in a flickering strobe of red and white. The voice boomed from hidden speakers. "Unauthorized presence detected. Leave immediately." Faucets roared to life in the kitchen and bathrooms. Projectors began casting eerie silhouettes that appeared to be watching them from the corners. Leonard shouted, "What the hell is happening?" Sylvia screamed. Olivia was in tears. Derek tried finding the fuse box, but it was no use. Sam's backup system was running flawlessly. The longer they moved around, the more intense the effects became. Whispers in the hallways, footsteps echoing, doors creaking open when no one was near them. The voice escalated. "You are trespassing. Security measures are active. Leave the property." Sylvia collapsed on the sofa, clutching her purse. Leonard paced, wide-eyed, swearing under his breath. Olivia sobbed. "I told you this was a bad idea. He's crazy. He did this." "Derek?" He said nothing, just kept trying to shut things down. At dawn, the locks released. The door opened. They ran, literally ran to the car. The camera caught Sylvia muttering, "We're never coming back," as Derek peeled out of the driveway. At 7:30 a.m., my phone rang. I smiled. "Dad!" Derek yelled the moment I answered. "What the hell did you do? The whole house went berserk. Mom's in tears. Olivia's freaking out." "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, calm as can be. "Is everyone okay?" "Don't play games with me. There were lights, voices, water everywhere. Don't pretend this wasn't your doing." "Derek," I said gently, "I was here in Sacramento all night. How could I possibly do anything to the house from 200 miles away?" He fumbled, sputtered. "You're lying. You had someone help you. That tech guy, right?" I shrugged, even though he couldn't see it. "I don't know what you're talking about. Sounds like your smart home system malfunctioned. Those things are unpredictable. You're going to pay for this." "No," I said. "I already paid. For that house, for your wedding, for your degrees, for your wife's car. This is me setting boundaries. You'll regret this." I almost laughed. "Not likely." Sunday night was blissfully quiet. I watched the villa's cameras one last time before turning them off. Derek and his entourage had disappeared. No trace of them remained. But I wasn't done yet. Because they weren't done either. Monday morning, a rental truck showed up in the driveway. Derek returned with a locksmith. From my office in Sacramento, I watched as they examined the doors, scratched their heads, and failed to make any progress. Sam's custom lock system wasn't just smart. It was untouchable. "These aren't regular locks," the locksmith said, scratching his chin. "It's an integrated biometric system, backup batteries, remote override. This is way above my pay grade." Derek was fuming. But eventually, they packed up and left. I smiled, leaned back in my chair, and made a call to Victor. "It's time," I said. Tuesday evening, as expected, they showed up at my house. I heard the car doors slam before the knock even came. "Open the door," Derek shouted. I opened it calmly. Derek stormed in, Olivia right behind him. "We need to talk, now." "I'm listening," I said. "You think you're so clever? Turning the villa into some kind of trap? Olivia's parents are traumatized. They can't sleep. My mom's convinced it's haunted." "That's unfortunate," I said. "You're a monster," Olivia hissed. "You tried to steal my house," I reminded her. "You abandoned your family," she snapped back. Derek clenched his fists. "You really want to fight us over this? Fine. But don't expect to ever meet your future grandchildren. When we have kids, you're dead to us." The words hung in the air. Once that would have broken me. I would have begged, apologized, promised anything, but now I just felt cold. You said I didn't need the house, that I was old, alone, that I had no use for it. Why does it matter now? Because we need it, Derek shouted. And because you tried to take it without asking, I said. You thought I'd roll over like I always did. Not this time. You'll regret this, Olivia said. We'll sue. Emotional distress, harassment, will ruin you. Good luck proving any of it, I replied. You broke into my house. You ignored a clearly posted warning, and the police already ruled everything inside as technical malfunction. Their fury was desperate now. Not righteous, desperate. And desperation makes people sloppy. Derek stepped back. This isn't over. No, I said, voice low. It's already over. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Conference room. Marble table. Polished chrome fixtures. My lawyer Victor sat beside me, flanked by his assistant. Across from me, Derek. Olivia. Her parents. All of them wearing stiff expressions like poker players who just realized they might be holding the losing hand. Victor opened a manila folder and cleared his throat. Let's get right to it, Derek said. We're here to finalize the transfer. The house is going to Olivia's parents. We're not playing games anymore. Victor exchanged a glance with me. I'm afraid that won't be possible, I said. What are you talking about? Olivia snapped. Victor folded his hands calmly. Because the property in question no longer belongs to Mr. Bennett. Everyone froze. What the hell does that mean? Derek said. It means, Victor explained, that as of Monday morning, the property was legally transferred to the Lakeside Hope Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to housing homeless veterans. Olivia's jaw dropped. That's impossible. It's final, Victor confirmed, and legally irreversible. Derek's eyes darted to me, disbelief written all over his face. You gave it away? I donated it, I corrected, to people who've actually earned something in life, unlike those who try to steal. But we made plans, Olivia's father stammered. And those plans didn't involve asking permission, I replied. We've got nowhere else to go, her mother whined. Neither did I said, when you kicked me out. The silence was deafening. Derek leaned in, his voice low and full of venom. You did this just to spite us. No, I said. I did it to end this, and I've never been more at peace. Victor pushed a stack of documents forward. You'll find that Mr. Bennett retained full usage rights for the rest of his life. No one, not even the foundation, can evict him. After that, it belongs solely to the charity. Derek stood up abruptly. You'll pay for this. We'll find a way to undo it. No, son, I said, standing too. You just learned the difference between leverage and entitlement, and you lost. They left in stunned silence. Thursday morning, I drove up to the villa, now officially my retreat once again. The air was clearer, the house quieter. I removed the sensors, the speakers, the projectors, packed everything up for Sam. Within 2 hours, it was just a home again. No war zone, no ghosts, no fear. I made coffee, stepped out onto the terrace, and sat in the same chair where Claire and I used to watch the sun rise over the lake. I closed my eyes, breathed in, and whispered, "Thank you, Claire, for teaching me to be kind, and for helping me remember when it's time to stop." She would have been proud, not of the revenge, maybe, but of the self-respect, of the man who finally remembered his worth.